Welcome back to Sonic Mania. This is part 4, the finale. This is not a very long game, but goddamn is it short and sweet because this is such a tight little package. There is nothing wasted in this game. It takes full advantage of every little level design opportunity that is presented with the tropes that the levels contain, both old and new. We're going to be going through only one new stage. I mean, that's part of the course, really. Every single part so far has been old, new, you know? Or new, old, or something like that. And that's actually totally fine. Because honestly, like, even the old stages, as I previously stated, they feel great. Like, this doesn't just feel like, oh, hey, we're in Lava Reef again, yay. Well, yeah, but the game plays differently. You know, you got Sonic's drop dash. The elemental shields basically play the same, but they do have some extra attributes with the way that they don't really have any necessarily new things. I believe that whole, like, the way that they bounce projectiles off of themselves, that I think is new. I do remember that from Sonic 3. It's been a while since I've played Sonic 3, though. Invincibility, yeah, boy, I'm gonna keep going through now, and fortunately, we do have the fire shield, so even when our invincibility runs out, we won't really have too much of an issue, now will we? I don't know if there's a secret area over there, and I don't care to find out, because it's all meaningless to me. All that I care about is a fun playthrough through a linear stage. Oh, look at the pattern on that platform. It's all so fucking detailed and rich. Like, everything moves, everything is animated. Okay, not literally everything, but there's lots of little things that you might not notice on your first, second, or third playthrough. Oh, fuck. Okay, there's an interesting trade-off to be made here, because on one hand, the electric shield is really useful because it draws in rings, and it also has, the double jump. But at the same time, do you really want to sacrifice that invincibility to the most prominent hazard in this level? Well, clearly I've made one choice. I don't know if it's the right one, but hey, it doesn't matter because we got another fire shield. Let's go. Look at that. Look at the background. It's so fucking pretty. Look at it. It's so cool. And later on, we're going to get even more prettiness with some extra detail. Ooh, there was actually a really cool 3D effect there that didn't come through because of the way that awkward angle that I approached that jump at. Let's see if I can... Tails. Yes, you can use Tails even when you have a shield. Ah, damn it. You think I can do this? Can I physics my way up there? Come on. Yes, I can physics my way up there. Look at that. It's interesting that they've kept the switches for this stage, because it's one of those, like, anti-puzzles. You know, the kind of level design where why would you even put a switch there considering that it's right there? It's so obvious, but at the same time, that's just a common trope in video games. Like, that's something that we will never grow out of that. Just the inherent satisfaction of, like, very, very quickly solving a suddenly emerging problem. It's like, oh shit, I need a switch. Oh, there's the switch, and you instantly get it. Huh. Those, what do you call it? Those guys that puff out, like, the steam or the smoke or whatever, they drain your health. They actually killed me a couple times without me even noticing because they sneakily drain your health. I don't even think it makes a sound. It's just like when Sonic has that on top of him and he just starts to die. This is a very Hilltop Zone-esque section, actually. Did the original Lava Reef have a section like this, or is this genuinely just a throwback to Hilltop Zone? Because Hilltop Zone had that, like, that one part where you're getting chased by the lava as well and the whole screen is shaking. Look, you can see the top of the volcano from here. It's like Sonic 06. You know how there was a... What was it called? Volcanic Caves? What? It wasn't anything Zone because it's a modern game, so obviously it's not going to have, like, the Zone prefix. But, like, what was the name of that level? Holy shit, I do not remember what it was called. Volcano... obviously it's got to be Volcano something. Or Lava something? Lava Volcano? I don't fucking know. But yeah, you can see, like, the top of the volcano from there. Although I feel like that might be more reminiscent of Sonic Spinball for some reason. That reminds me. I don't know, it's like everything you look at this game, it's like, is that a reference, or am I just going insane? But yeah, the parallax is really pretty. Okay, there we go. We finally have our first, like, encounter here. This guy's interesting because you don't actually fight him directly. You lure him to the rocks, actually. And when he sucks in the lava from the rock, well, it doesn't suck it in, but basically it damages him, as you can see. but it's not enough to just do that. You have to completely eliminate the shield off of him. Like, he has this armor, and now I think we'll be able to do damage, right? Let's see. There you go, now he's weak. Now we can finally start to genuinely damage him. So there's really no point in... I mean, I think that still damages him a little bit, so you can help yourself by getting him attacked by the lava, but there you go. If you let him stomp on something that's already been stomped, he'll just bounce around and, like, have, like, giant boulders fall on top of you and, like, spike balls and shit, I think. So you don't want to do that. In Lava Reef Act 2 might as well be called Hidden Palace Zone, because this is obviously where it takes its inspiration from. And wow, the music has never sounded better. Like, I know Jun Sonoa composed this, but holy shit. That guitar soothes my soul, man. It's such a beautifully played piece. And then, like, the composition is great, obviously, and that's Jun. But I'm pretty sure is that T-Lopes playing guitar? Does he play guitar? I imagine he does. I mean, most people who just compose music as a whole tend to be multi-instrumentalists, because you have to, you know, why would you waste time and money hiring someone else when you can just do it yourself? You know, guitar is pretty easy to play as it is, so either way, yeah, this level is such an interesting take on... Because, like, it's technically Lava Reef Act 2, but it really is just Hidden Palace. But it doesn't just feel like, oh, hey, remember Hidden Palace? It's its own stage that feels very fleshed out and developed, and I'm gonna miss that extra life, god damn it. Whatever. And that's the fun thing about this game, that it takes these tiny little moments and expands them into a much greater experience. So you really do feel like you're getting the most out of whatever it is that the developers originally had in mind all those years ago. Fuck. And we're gonna see something really interesting in the background really soon. Look, if you're not gonna make the lava a bottomless pit, I'm just gonna damage boost my way through it. I do not care for ring bonuses or anything like that. There's the Eggman logo. Wait, I do want to get that shield though. See if I can somehow... No. That's very frustrating when that happens. But check... Hold on, wait. We're not high up enough to be able to see it. But at some point we'll be able to see something that was also in the original background to Sonic Free, I think. Well, Sonic and Knuckles, but still. Some tricky platforming. Here's really not that hard, actually. Again, this game never really gets too difficult, even by the end game. Like, at this point, you would expect the game to get a lot harder, but I do remember this being, I do consider this to be easier than what I remember Lava Reef being like. Again, I haven't played Sonic Free in a long time, to be fair. Like, I'm not the kind of person who can point out every tiny little difference in the levels between the games, to be honest. And I don't really care to be able to do that, because I don't feel like that's necessary. This is a game that you can enjoy no matter your background with the series. You know, it's a very standalone kind of experience. Okay, I think we've got a better look at the opening. I think we might be able to see what that is that I was talking about prior. Hold on. No. We're still not quite high up enough. But the background will soon open up, and we're gonna see the Death Egg. And that's just such a cool little... It's not just that it's a callback, but it's relevant, too. Because you actually kind of go... Well, no. It's not the Death Egg, though. I think it's Little Planet. Why do I say that? It's because the level is coming up. If you know this game's level order, you'll know that the next stage in order is Metallic Madness, which is from Sonic CD, which clearly means that we're about to enter Little Planet. Well, sort of enter it. We don't really know how Sonic and Tails end up there, even with the added transition with the update, because originally I think you just teleported there. But here, it also doesn't really explain it. He just kind of, well, now we're here. Still, we're gonna see how that goes. Get ourselves a fire shield, which isn't actually as useful in the second act as it would be in the first act, because there's not quite as much lava on the whole. There's still a lot of fire hazards still. And come on, are we finally there? Can we see it? There it is, look at the background. But yeah, that's Little Planet. That's not the Death Egg. We can go through there, right? Yes, we can. Jump up here, just barely. Oh, man. Oh, fade to black. You know what this means? Boss time, right? Yes. This is one of those bosses that I've never really bothered actually trying to figure out how to fight, because honestly, the pattern, like the ball swinging is so erratic that it's like, fuck it, just don't even try. Just, I mean, you can sort of time it, and you can't sort of time it. You just have to... Why does that Motobug have bloodshot eyes? Also, love that little reference to Sonic CD, you know, with Palm Tree Panic, where the kids go like, yay, get your rings back, because that's the only way you're going to survive this, by taking hits. But yeah, see, that's not the Death Egg, that's Little Planet. It was originally the Death Egg in Sonic 3, I believe, because there was this really cool section in Lava Reef. I mean, I do kind of wish it did something with that really awesome set piece in Lava Reef Act 2 in the original, but, you know, you can't have them all. God damn it, he is, like, he's not even like a difficult fight. He's just frustrating. There you go. Look at that guy. He's angry. And this is the end of the first zone we're going to be covering. Yeah, see, they've angled Little Planet in such a way to make it look like the Death Egg, but it's not. You know, game, that doesn't really explain how we ended up here. We're just kind of here. But, okay, cool. And holy shit, the music. It's got the awesome Sonic rap, which was, I believe, actually performed by T-Lopes himself. And he finally posted the original lyrics like a few years ago, I think. I don't remember what they are exactly, but still, it's funny that, like, the composer himself had to post them because they're just so indecipherable, but there's a certain charm to, like, lyrics you just can't fucking make out. It's really fun because it kind of helps the music feel not as grounded, you know? Like, you ever go into, like, the comment section of one of those, this song, but every other beat is missing, and people will talk about how, oh, it feels like I'm listening to it in a different language. And how when you're listening to something in a foreign language, even if it's not actually foreign, it's just, you know, jumbled up English, it kind of takes the meaning away from the song, but in a good way. It's the same reason why so many people gravitate towards anime music, you know? Not just the music itself, which is very interesting, actually. There's a lot of influences and strange musical, like, decisions that are made there when I had, like, this phase where I used to analyze that kind of music. And a lot of it has influenced me as a songwriter, actually. But it's not just that, it's also obvious the fact that you can't understand a word of it. So it kind of makes it feel bigger than it really is. It has, like, this larger-than-life kind of quality. I don't know. I feel kind of cringy listening to that stuff now. But I am glad I did, because I learned a lot of interesting sequences and things you can throw into a chord progression to make it more exciting to listen to. You can't do that, can you? Maybe you can. Come on. Physics. Yes, I can physics my way up there. Get some rings? Okay, good. It's got those disappearing blocks, but don't worry, the game never pulls a Mega Man on you. It never tries to make you do any real platforming on those. Little bomb guy. Look at it, so cute. Also left that obvious, like, fucking Ghostbusters saxophone. You know, it's like, how did they get away? I guess it's just a sample that just existed at the time. Although I'm pretty sure that movie's from the 80s, actually. Whatever. And they just used it because they can. And I love how this composition, just like with Sonic CD's other stage, Stardust Speedway, the composition in this stage is actually very different. I've spent all this time talking about the music, I know, because that's all I care about, but no, really. This back and forth gimmick here, it's actually used very tastefully, because some games might kind of go a little overboard with, like, oh, look at our perspective, but no, they just throw it in there, give you a really, really simple, straight-up automated platforming section, just to give it a little more visual variety, you know? That's usually what those sections are for, just to spice things up, to keep it from just being the same 2D plane the whole time. Ow. My face. There's Eggman. Oh no. I forgot that you can roll into him. You should probably do that, because it's way easier than to try and jump into the bottom one. He's gonna come from there. Hit him twice? No, you can only hit him once. His invincibility frames are too long. Oh, fuck, don't get crushed. Come on, this is... And yes, of course, I don't have to point this out. This is the Sonic 1 final boss, but it's way easier because you actually have rings this time. And now he goes into Sonic 4 mode. Check this out. He's gonna go real fast. What was the music for, holy shit, I literally reviewed Sonic 4 not too long ago, and yet, like, I've already forgotten what the music was for when Eggman goes into, like, his pinch mode, you know, his, like, I'm gonna die mode. What do they even sound like? I don't know. I've only got this right now in my head. Time for the second act, and this one's based, again, it's based on the present version. It would have been kind of interesting to see them, like, try and throw in some bad feature in there, or a good feature, doesn't really matter. But for both Sonic CD stages, they only went with the past and present versions, which, I mean, okay, I understand, it's the most definitive one. Not to say that throwing in the bad feature would have been completely incorrect, considering that, you know, that's the default ending. I don't know which one's the canon ending, but the point is that, you know, that's the one people are more likely to find because it takes less effort to get to. So most people playing Sonic CD for the first time will get the bad ending. That's just how it goes, right? They're not going to know where all the roboticizers are. They're not going to get all the Chaos Emeralds. Look at me, calling myself a fucking Sonic fan. Time Stones. Damn it. They're functionally the same. They don't make Sonic go super, but what if he could, though? What if he could go, like, Time Sonic, where he can control time? Oh, that would be weird. Well, actually, he can kind of do that in Secret Rings, you know, because Time Break and Speed Break. Huh. But that's Dark Spine Sonic. I mean, he could do that by default, though. He doesn't need the Chaos Rings, I think they were called. The Rings of Chaos, whatever they were. Look, it's Mini Sonic. He's tiny, tiny boy Sonic. It's great. And you've given him a couple more sprites of animation frames to make him feel a little smoother to play. And you got Tiny Tails, too. Although it is possible to, like, have one of the two characters glitched in, like, this half-shrunken state. I think I've only seen it happen in Peter Netter's really, really old playthrough of Sonic, not Mania, Sonic Mania, like M-A-N-Y-A, you know, that's how he spelled it for the funnies and the thumbnails. But, yeah, it actually happened to him during his playthrough. I think it was something to do with the fact that they were playing co-op with his brother, and, you know, that just kind of, when a human has control over Tails, it can do things that wasn't exactly intentional, and it kind of messes up and blah, blah, blah. Technical things, I don't really know. There's always the argument to be made regarding the game difficulty and when it should really pick up. Because the truth is, this game, it never actually gets too hard. That's the funny thing. I am literally on the second, well, no, technically, I'm on the third to last level of the entire game. And yet, it doesn't feel that much more difficult. Now again, it is kind of hard to make a Sonic game all that hard, just inherently because of the ring system, right? The fact that you have almost infinite hits, but it's still possible. Bottomless pits, insta-kill of obstacles, stuff like that, you can still make it hard. Maybe that's why I've always gravitated towards Sonic, because there's always this part of me that feels that my deaths are never warranted in a game, even when they are. I just can't seem to comprehend that notion. And hey, look, it's a little gumball machine. This is fucking adorable. Look at this. Tiny little bosses. It's great. But, yeah, it's just that I guess I gravitate towards games that are challenging, but not punishing. Because this game can be challenging, but it's never hard to just get through it. Anyone can play through this game. You know, I don't know about Knuckles' playthrough, because he is kind of like the harder mode, because of his, you know, his limited jump. Although, he can also glide and climb walls, so he's kind of got that going for him. Do I spin that? Oh, Tails! He took one for the team. What a trooper. That's what Tails has always been good for. Sacrifice. Come on, Tails. You no. Get Tails, Amy. You want Tails, not me. Oh, for fuck's sake. Die. There you go. And now we got Eggman. We gotta flush him out of his little thing. It's one of those anti-bosses where there's not really a boss. It's just kind of like, okay. That was easier than the first one. That's the funny thing. Maybe they were meant to be flipped around in order, but regardless, that was Metallic Madness. Nice little Sonic CD. I took note of the fact that Tails is afraid of lightning. That's a nice little callback to, what was it? The Sonic OVA? That was such a weird movie. Because it felt like an extended version of the opening of Sonic CD. I think it was done by a different animation team. I'm not sure. It feels like it was, because the animation is different. Let's be fair, I imagine they probably, because it was a full-length movie rather than just a little intro animation, they weren't able to make it quite as nice looking. It still looks okay. And the music, holy shit, have you fucking heard, like, the South Island theme? That's, like, in my head, that's that perfect cross-section between classic and 3D Sonic, because it kind of sounds like something out of Sonic Adventure. Except it still distinctly feels like something from Sonic CD or something. I've literally listened to that shit for hours. Like, it's just an 8-measure loop or so. It's not really that long, but you can listen to that forever. It's so loopable, you know? Oh, and speaking of music, yeah, the music here is awesome as well. I wouldn't say it's the most memorable theme in the game, but it does set the tone very well, and it's dark, but not overly, it's not like, you know, repetitive or anything and really brooding. It's just kind of, it's cool. It's got a really great sort of step to it, you know? And this level obviously incorporates elements from a little bit of Metropolis, as you can see, a little bit of the bonus stages from Sonic 3, a little bit of Scrap Brain here or there. It's you know, it's a nice little amalgamation of some existing Sonic things plus some new ideas. Obviously those what even are those? Those like pig bear looking, those things, the ones I just destroyed. I think they were in Starlight Zone from Sonic 1. And again, they're being used in a different way, and it's just really cool how this game incorporates all these different elements while still making everything feel unique, because it's just a part of Eggman's army. It's really clever. Because you really can't blame the guy for reusing certain things, you know? Come on. There you go. Make it through. Hit the spring. Bada boom, bada bing. Do people even say that anymore? I don't know. I feel like my tongue, my language is stuck in like... What the f... Okay, I get it. Sonic is more than one tile set tall. Fuck's sake. Okay. I guess that was my fault. I guess it was my fault. Because Sonic is a little bit taller than that. He's not... Look, he is taller than the spikes. Okay, fair enough. I guess I deserve that death. I don't know. Maybe it's just a very unlikable side of my personality, but I have a hard time ever perceiving anything as my fault, truly. And sometimes I do the opposite, where I think, oh no, everything is my fault. Which is also very unhealthy. So I don't know why I talk about this during my Let's Plays, but to be honest, I don't really care, because I've accepted the fact that you shouldn't give a shit, you know? That's the path to success on this platform. Because otherwise you're stifled. You just don't want to make content. You just sit there like, how should I do this? Just do something, damn it! Alright? Learn from Duke Nukem 3D, where it was like, oh, we gotta add this thing and make it better and do this, and by the end it just ends up being a fucking disaster. So just do the thing when you want to do it and when you can. Don't think about, oh, is it gonna be as good as it can be? Fuck it, that'll change, that'll improve over time. I don't know. I just decided to do this Let's Play because it's like, hey, this game is pretty short, and it'll give me something to have to upload while I'm practicing Sprawl, because that game is tough as shit. It's this first-person shooter. It's a relatively recent first-person shooter. It's not fashioned after the more modern ones. Well, it kind of is. It has like a lot of Doom 2016 in its DNA. But it's hard, you know? Like the default difficulty. The game doesn't actually have difficulties. It's a very progressive sort of title where instead of a difficulty selector, you can just change certain things about, like, for example, you can just make yourself more powerful. You can make yourself more resilient. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to give myself a little more resistance to damage. I'm not going to change any of the weapon damage values, though, because I do feel like that takes away from the, you know, whole dancing with the weapons thing going on, where, you know, you have to select the right weapon for the right enemy type. It makes it interesting. So when everything can take out anything, it just becomes boring, to be honest. Not like you can't do that well. I mean, Painkiller does it really well. In that game, you don't really have to care about which weapon you're using, but the way the game is designed just makes it so fucking fun. And when I say the way the game is designed, what I really mean is there's lots of blood and guts, and it makes it really fun to listen to the cool metal music in the background that was made by a Polish band founded in the 1970s, and somehow still sounds modern. I mean, to be fair, that was from 2004, but you get the idea, you know? Production changes over time and such. But anyway, isn't this the guy from Sonic 3? This is a fight from Sonic 3, isn't it? But it's very different. And again, yeah, this is my strategy for all the bosses in this game. I think that's why I like Sonic so much, because I can get away with this shit. No other game will let you get away with just doing that. You know, also, he's not done. He has a second phase. And his second phase is somehow actually easier than the first, to be perfectly honest. Get the ring, Tails! Come on, be my ring collecting buddy. That's all you're good for. Oh shit, now I actually have to No, I don't, because Tails took him out. Legend. Thank you, Tails. Extra life as well. Nice. Oh boy. Titanic Monarch Zone Act 2. This is the final level of Sonic Mania. The end of my life. That's a reference to Sonic CD, actually. Remember? You can actually jump out of those in the original. Not here, though, of course. And for some reason, that spring doesn't come back. And this level is, again, it's a final level, for sure. But it doesn't really feel that... It feels climactic, for sure. It definitely has, like, an endgame feel with the music, the visuals, all that. But it's not too hard. I can't say it's my favorite level in terms of its design because it does demand a little more from the player, and I'm not willing to put in that much. I'm a very lazy video game player. But at the same time, it doesn't demand that much either way. Look at that. Whoa, it's like something on the Saturn. Could the Saturn actually do that? Probably. I don't know. It's just that it remixes a lot of the same gimmicks that we've seen previously in the stage. And there's nothing to do here. Oh, those disappear! Wait, why though? Hold on, is there... Oh, I see. Okay, well, that can help you guys out if you're going for 100%. I'm not, so I'm not going to bother with that. But that is something to take into consideration if you want to, you know... Now, let's see if I can... Oh, wait, I forgot. I was going to say, I'm going to see if I don't time over, but then I realized when I started the save file, I disabled time overs. Because, yes, this game lets you do that. It lets you disable a very strange choice. Like, I don't know why games ever did that back... Well, no, I get why I would do it in an arcade scenario, why you would limit the player's time. I understand it in that context, but not on a home console. Why would a home console game... Like, even like Super Mario Bros., like, why? That game was never on the arcade, so, like, that was the thing. That was the home console revolution. So why do they have a time limit? I guess to just convince you to keep going. I don't fucking know. It's weird. Like, what kind of design choice is that? So I've disabled that, obviously. Especially because here it's not really that obvious, because if you didn't know beforehand, you might be surprised. Like, what? 10 minutes and I'm dead? Well, actually, it's 99999, but whatever. You get the idea. Time limits just do not belong in any game, unless it's like, okay, if it's contextual and very specific to one particular scenario in the game, then sure, I'll deal with like one or two time limit things, but when it's like a global time limit, that's kind of, I think that's why I will never ever play Majora's Mask, even though, okay, I know there's ways to make the time limit less of a factor. There's certain songs you can play with the ocarina, which allow you to slow time down. You can manipulate time. That's what that game is all about. And I understand it as an intentional design choice to want to have Link be forced to utilize the ocarina in that way, because in the Ocarina of Time, it was always like, oh, it's you solve a puzzle. Like, you see the fucking symbol on the floor and you're just like, yep, okay. I'm saying this as someone who's only played Ocarina of Time up to like the first dungeon. I'm not even kidding. I've played almost nothing of that game, but it's a game that's so ingrained in gaming culture that I've seen so many reviews of it, so many playthroughs, that it's like, yeah, no shit, I know everything about that game, even though I've never played it, because it's not really that deep, to be honest. There's not that much to Zelda. I've always had this weird thing where in my head, every video game ever is never about its core genre. For example, you know how most people will agree that, for example, the Metroid games are not about the shooting. They're about the exploration and the interesting locations. Well, that's kind of how I am with almost everything. For example, when I hear people say that, for example, Half-Life, I say that a lot, shut up, is a game that's, oh, just a game where you shoot people the whole time, like when Danny O'Dwyer said it, I was like, what? But then I realized that was like 10 years ago. Don't give him shit for it, please. But when he said that, I was a little confused because, well, wait, what do you mean Half-Life is a game where you do nothing but shoot people? Then I really thought about it. I'm like, actually, yeah, that's all you do. You run around and you shoot people. There is actually nothing else to the gameplay other than like solving the occasional puzzle, which basically solves itself with the way the game is designed. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. But I've never felt that way about a lot of things. It's just like for Halo. I've never considered Halo a first-person shooter. It is. But I think it's because the guns are so unsatisfying to shoot, to be honest, that it's more about the interesting locations and strange enemy types and such. Or how Sonic was never really about the speed for me. It was more about, again, the adventure, the music. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not a very common choice to look at games in such a way to think, oh, it's not just about this, when in reality it is just about this one thing. And like from a game design standpoint, I get that. That's what you have to do in order to be able to make a game, because that's why making games seems like such a daunting task, because where the fuck do you even start constructing such a unique thing? But what you do is you just kind of start with like a baseline, you know? It's like, okay, I want it to be a game where you do this thing. Then what do you build around that? That's your foundation, you know? I'm telling myself this because I always want to know that I could make a video game. I'm never gonna make one because I don't get the point. It's like the best game ever made already exists. It's called Sonic Adventure 2. And Painkiller. Those are the two best games ever made. So there's no real point in me making one because it's already been made. But at the same time, it's empowering. It's the reason why I do everything that I do, really. I make Let's Plays now because I want to know that I can make Let's Plays. It feels good. It's like I can record it, I can play it, I can commentate. That's sick. I open up a Blender every now and then to know that, yes, I technically can make 3D models. I'm not great at it, but I can do it. I practice using Ableton to make my music for these videos and such. Like, for example, those little jingles you hear and stuff, I make those myself. And it's because it feels good to know that, hey, I made that. I didn't just take it from some fucking copyright-free website or whatever. No, I made that myself. And it feels good. I make my own thumbnails and everything, you know? Like, even if by some fucking black magic this channel actually became successful enough to allow me to just get other people to do shit for me, I would never do it. Because what the fuck? Like, why would you not want to do things yourself and be the guy in control? You know? Maybe my mindset is that... That's probably what's holding me back, to be honest, but... I don't really care. I mean, one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time is a channel that hit its peak 10 years ago and has never even come close since, due to the decisions that the creator made. And you might know what I'm talking about if you've watched some of these other playthroughs. I'm not going to call them out specifically because I feel like that'd be kind of it'd be a little rude. But still. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's just like, I want to do this. It's fun. I'm playing this Sonic Mania, having a good time. I'm beating this whole fucking game in one sitting. My back hurts like shit, but it's worth it for the good audio quality because I'm standing up in a very particular way, which allows me to be right up close to my mic. Otherwise, the videos would sound like this. And I don't think anyone wants to hear that. So, you know, I am very conscious of the quality of this content. So... final boss. I did not talk about the level at all. There's something to fucking say. It's final level in a video game, whatever. What really matters here is this boss, and he falls into that, like, Sonic CD final boss syndrome where he gets easier over time. So at the start, he is damn near impossible to get a hit. Look at that. How do you hit him? I have no idea. But as he takes damage, he becomes easier and no, those don't damage him. He becomes easier and easier to hit as you do damage to him. You jump into those hands, try not to get glitched by them because I have seen that happen before. It hasn't happened to me, but it is a thing that could happen. And just like how the game taught you, you hit the blue ones. Actually, no, you don't hit the blue ones. Which ones do you hit? Is it just random? I don't fucking know. It's just... They eventually just decide, okay, you're out of there now. So come on, let's just wait until he does the electric... There you go. You have to time it just right. That's how it's done. Oh, that's how you get the hits in. Look at me, realizing it. 7 years too late. This game is 7 years old. It's gonna be 8 years old real soon, which, like, doesn't sound like a lot, but for video games, actually kind of... It's interesting how, like, 8 years old for a person is nothing, but 8 years old for a video game is, oh, so much. Well... It depends, really, because games from, like, 2008 onwards haven't changed at all, so it's not that much like they'd be dated or something. Because, like, let's say you play a game released in 1995 in 1996, and you feel like you just went 100 years back into the past. But, for example, a game released in 2000, well, let's say 18, you play it now, and it's like, oh, hey, it just came out, didn't it? No? It didn't just come out? Huh, that's interesting. Which is normal. That happens with every medium. Just like how music hasn't changed in hundreds of years, how film hasn't changed in 50 or so years. You know, yeah, technology. Oh, fuck, I have no health. Be very careful now. Actually try and avoid him, which is something I don't really do all that often because I don't believe in the religion of oh! Okay, no, but I guess that's it. That's the guy. Okay, he's done. There's the Phantom Ruby. Quick, destroy it so we don't get the critically mixed entry. Get the fuck out of there, Sonic. Come on. Hey, Knuckles. I'm gonna give my final thoughts during the credits, as I always do. Enjoy the ending. Sonic Mania is not a retro game. It's not a throwback. That would imply that it is arbitrarily limited in some way. But that's not it. This game takes a formula that was already pretty timeless to begin with, and dips it into the fountain of youth, making it virtually immortal. Everything that made classic 2D Sonic what it is remains. But it's the little things that count. A wide aspect ratio, smoother animations, and a godly soundtrack removes any possible wrinkles the original games could have had. The difficulty feels more balanced, the level designs are creative beyond words, and just like Sonic Generations, Mania takes stages of old and makes them its own. Even more impressive considering that with the sprite-based 2D style, it could have been easy for this game to just feel like more of the same. But even returning stages have been freshened up and turned into the smoothest and most refined versions of themselves. It amazes me just how cohesive this game is as a package. I never found myself separating the old from the new, which was a real risk this game took. I agree with the popular opinion that this game should have only had new stages, absolutely, but the fact that it's able to remain so distinct in spite of its familiar sights and sounds is a testament to what a new set of hands can do. It's almost hard for me to say this, but Mania honestly replaces the original games for me. It takes the best of all of them and paves over some of my annoyances with the original design, leaving nothing but a highly replayable, tight as a drum platforming experience behind. Thank you again for watching this rather short playthrough, and I'll be seeing you again with another BK play.